see the way they hate. And I know better than to listen to people who are calling us slaves. I can feel the sunlight shining in.
Well, good morning, everyone. Welcome to episode 854 of the Lots Project Morning Show, where the coffee is strong, the opinions are stronger, and everything is always filter-free. I'm Brian, your host, and it's September 8th, 2025. This morning, I'm enjoying a fresh cup of FTO Blonde Espresso from foodforestfarms.com because life's too short for shady coffee. At Food Forest Farms, your beans are roasted by real human hands using a clear Airstream roaster. More than just a customer, your family. Get 10% off with code LOTS10. That's LOTS10, and shipping is always free. While you're there, check out the C4 Club for even more awesome perks. Today, we've got another packed show, middle of the night electrical fun earlier this week. Pouring concrete in the woods, what's wrong with a little ding-dong ditch, and why Costco can't just do what it wants. Grab your coffee, smash the like button, and let's get started. Good morning. How is everyone doing today? Good morning, Pip. Thanks for stopping in. Good morning, humans over there in the chat. Appreciate that. Hunter over on Twitch. Good morning to you, sir. Pip says day 3 of transmission swap on the new daily driver. Oh, day 3 of transmission swap. How long should that normally take, Pip? Is that a reasonable amount of time? Is that something that is giving you some trouble, or I don't know. I've never done a transmission swap on a I've never done a transmission swap on a vehicle myself, for sure. Good morning, Mike's Homestead. Thanks for stopping in and Rewilder Life. Good morning to you. She's about ready to milk some cows, but we'll listen in. All right, sounds good. Enjoy the milking. I hope the apples work. And it isn't hours of waiting for them. Seems so simple. Oh, Pip hasn't changed the transmission himself either, so he's not sure how long it's supposed to take. How's everybody doing? I don't have it on my notes to talk about, but a little update on the kitty cat Dolly, our kitten that showed up outside, and just so you know, her mom's outside. I think it's her mom. Corey's not sure. Corey probably thinks it's her mom, but wants to not think about it, and because we took in her kitten. But that cat's outside, kind of wanders around. She's lived under the camper for quite a while, comes and goes and this and that, and then been seeing her. And I think it's probably her mom. But Dolly, anyway, she's integrating all right. She's pretty much ruling the other two, ruling the dogs at this point. She harasses them for sure. She's not scared of them at all. When she's in a playful mood, she is definitely antagonizing them to chase her. She plays this little game where the dogs lay down and they're sleeping on their side, and she'll bat at their feet and irritate them, and then the dogs get up, get all angry, and go lay down somewhere else. So she thinks that's a hilarious game. Yeah, just typical cat shit, just being a typical cat. And one of the reasons I could take him or leave him, but she is what she is. She isn't particularly fond of me. We have our moments, but definitely mommy's kitten for sure. Probably because mommy saves her, and also she has her overnight cage in Corey's room. And other than that, she's been out pretty much nonstop, other than overnights, and I think that's more of a function of Corey wants to make sure she gets sleep instead of the cat waking her up and the dogs and harassing them. But other than that, I think this weekend was the first weekend that we let her stay out when we left for a significant amount of time. We went and got groceries and did our thing on a weekend morning and left her out with the dogs, and they coexisted just fine. So seems like Corey did a fantastic job of integrating them, and now they're all buddies and pals. And I don't know. I don't think the dogs particularly care for her being around. but they'll tolerate her. They haven't eaten her yet, so that's a good thing. Other than that, this FTO Blonde Espresso, if you're looking for some fantastic coffee, definitely check out Food Forest Farms. If you listen to the show, you know that's what I drink every day, day in and day out, and wouldn't go for anything else. A few weeks back, Corey and I stopped at a place to get some breakfast, and I ordered a coffee, and man, I immediately ordered a water because I couldn't drink the coffee. It was horrible. It was absolutely horrible, and it really made me appreciate how good the coffee from Brian over at Food Forest Farms is. And appreciate if you go check it out, foodforestfarms.com, and order up a pound, which is actually a pound. No shrinkflation there. Actually a pound when you order a pound at Food Forest Farms, and the price, you can't beat it for what coffee prices are doing right now. Let's get to it. Let me get my notes over here. So this week had a real big accomplishment on Friday. Had set a goal. I don't know if I talked about it last week or only in the Telegram group, but I switched MOs. I kind of went away from doing gravel pad and then pre-pour concrete pier, the little deck blocks for our main support underneath the floor in the cabin I'm building, and so I decided to pour some footings, I guess you call them. And so I had a goal of getting all 5 of these pads poured this week. They're going to be 20. They were going to be 28 inches diameter, 28 to, well, some of them ended up a little larger, but minimum 28 inch diameter circle with about 14 inches deep, and with putting 4 inches of gravel in the bottom, and then 8 to 10 inches of 8 to 10 inches of concrete in the hole, and then set a threaded rod in them. So my goal was to get those poured by the end of the week. Had all the material up there at the beginning of the week, had some different scheduling things going on, doing work here, there for other things, and I'll talk about that in a little bit too. But it was going to be pouring about 40 bags of concrete. So anyway, I skipped. I'll talk about the actual process here in a bit, but I want to talk about the later that night. But got that finished on Friday, so I hit my goal. I was hoping to have it done by the end of the weekend. Ended up having get it all done Friday. Pounded it out. It was it was probably more than I should have done, but it was like one of those things where once you got started, it was go for it and get it done. But felt really accomplished. Came home Friday, hung out with Corey in the evening, and had a good evening, and went to bed. Was sleeping really good overnight. The weather has been cooperating the last few days, at least overnight. It's been getting cooler, and Jesus. Back to the dogs drinking during the show. It's quite distracting. The Walter used to be the worst. Little sidebar here. Walter used to be the worst when he would drink. Norman is almost as bad, as loud when they slop in the bowl. It is there. He's done. Perfect. At least he doesn't drink like for a minute and a half like Walter used to do. Anyway, it's been cooling off at night, been sleeping really well. And I was excited to go to bed on Friday night, and I fell asleep. I fell asleep hard. The air conditioning was on because it had been super hot, but it was cooling off. And all of a sudden, I think it was like 3:30 in the morning, Corey wakes me up, and man, I was out of it. I was beat from pouring the concrete. I was sleeping really good. She woke me up and she's like, "Hey, the power's out and the inverter's clicking." Well, when I had gone to bed, we were having some storms. We had a pretty big storm earlier that evening. Thunderstorm. There were thunderstorms all over when I took the dogs out to go to bed. When I went to bed, it was lightning in the area, and it hadn't really stormed again. I don't think necessarily this close. But the power being out wasn't unusual. That happens quite often here. But she said the inverter was clicking, and I'm like, I don't understand what's going on. Let me get up and take a look. And it was 3:30 in the morning, and I came out of a dead sleep. And I walk over, and the inverter is clicking between shore power and battery power. And it was pretty steady. It was consistent. It was like every 4 or 5 seconds it would click back and forth. So I was watching it, and basically when it would switch on to shore power, it would go to 120 volts, and then it would drop off steadily down to like 108, and then the inverter said, oh, there's no more shore power, switch to battery. As soon as it switched to battery, it would pop back up to 120 volts, and then do the same thing over and over and over. And I'm like, what the hell is going on? Thankfully it had cooled off enough that when Corey realized the power was out, she turned the air conditioner off, because it drains our batteries pretty quick with the air conditioner on. And we had enough batteries to run fans, and I was like, hey, I'm gonna fix this clicking. I'm gonna just turn us on to battery power and screw the shore power, and then I'm gonna go back to sleep for an hour or so, and then I'll get up and figure this out. It was raining out, it was lightning out, and I didn't really feel like going outside, and I'm working on electrical in the lightning and in the pouring rain. So I went back to sleep for a little bit, and got up when Corey says, now it's beeping. So basically now it was completely going off and coming back on. And when it would restore power, it would available power, it would beep. So this was probably about 4:30 now, 5 o'clock maybe. And so I was like, all right, well, I'm gonna go outside. I'm gonna take a look around. It's still dark. It was sprinkling still, and so I go outside, and I got shocked. Not like static shock, like 120 volt shock running through my hand. And I'm like, oh, wow, that was interesting. And so I take a piss outside. I kind of look around. The neighbors had power, and their lights and stuff weren't flickering, like their outside lights. And so it didn't look like a main power issue that was pulsing or anything. I peeked around a little bit outside. It was still dark and raining a little bit. And I wasn't real excited about troubleshooting at 4:30 in the morning again. And we were still all right for power, for running what we needed to for the rest of the night. So I went over the truck. I grabbed a towel, and I came back, and I went to open the camper door with the towel and got zapped again through the towel. And yeah, so that woke me up quite a bit. I laid in bed thinking about what could be going on. What could the issue be? Why is my camper door electrified? And fell back to sleep for a little bit, and woke up normal time in the morning. Got up, made coffee, kind of contemplated it some more, and then went into troubleshooting. Went outside, started inspecting things, and looked around and realized what had happened. So it appeared that either the landowner or us, I don't think it was us, but probably the landowner, when he was mowing the lawn, had either moved our shore power cord that goes over to the outlet pole, had either moved it, or possibly what I think might have happened was he might have hit it with the tire of the lawnmower when he was backing up into the area there, turning around on a zero turn. And it had spread. So the setup we have is our shore power cord isn't quite long enough to reach the pole. So I had a 50 amp extension cord that I built. You can check out the video of me building it on the YouTube channel if you're interested in doing something like that. But I just use it as an extension to get over to the pole. And when he rolled over the where those two plug-ins connected, it had kind of pushed them apart a little bit and then shoved it down in the dirt. Well, it hadn't. I don't know when this happened. That's not something I routinely inspect. It probably should have been. It probably will be now. But I Actually, I went away from that and I used our other shore power cord that is long enough to get to the pole, and so I actually avoided the whole situation at this point. Backwards, it's actually the one we're supposed to use for our generator, but it'll work for now. Good morning, Canadian Farmstead. Thanks for stopping. And so what had happened, it pushed that down in the dirt. We hadn't had rain here, any significant rain. We had like little sprinkles here and there, nothing that would even make the dirt wet in weeks. After we'd had really kind of a lot of rain all summer, and then we went into a dry spell for probably a month or more now. This Friday rainstorm was probably the most rain we had in a month. And it was significant. We were getting downpours. We were getting like sideways rain. We got really dumped on it. It really saturated the ground. And what I think happened is the ground got wet enough to conduct the conductors that were exposed in between the two plug-ins that got pushed into the dirt. And so basically it was grounding through the ground. And when I went outside to check things out in my bare feet and touch the camper, I was basically electrode. And yeah, so had voltage bleeding off from the cord. Basically I unplugged that cord. I grabbed the generator cord, pulled it over to the post, plugged it in, turned the power on, and everything was good. So I have to believe that was the issue. The neighbors didn't seem to have any issues. We weren't having any issues after I took that, and it looked suspicious. So that was interesting in the middle of the night. Get a nice big rainstorm, saturate the ground, and then have all sorts of electrical issues. So that was fun to deal with, and at least the storm had brought a cool down. And we weren't sweltering in here when we turned the air conditioning off when the power went out, and we were able to run on our batteries, and everything went well. Battery system still working, solar still working, and things like that. So it really is a nice backup that we have to rely on when the power goes out, and it'll be nice to move out and to rely on all solar when we get out to the cabin. So that was electrical issues. That was my fun on Friday night. That's for me for being accomplished and getting something done and feeling good about myself on Friday during the day. Of course, life has to smack me in the head and say, you're not that good. Figure this out in the middle of the night. So let's go with that win. I'll talk about that win now. Got some concrete poured out at the cabin. 40 50-pound bags is what it took. I got that poured. I'm an old fat guy, basically, late 40s, overweight, 34 degrees. It's 34 degrees where you're at. Oh, Rewilder Life says it's 34. That's close to frost. You got frosty fields out there? Jeez. So I'm late 40s. I'm overweight. I'm out of shape. It is what it is. I think a lot about doing something about it, which I probably should. Hold on one, guys. I'll be right back. Okay, Farmstead says I just had an ad for mature dating pop up over the chat. And Hunter says it's amazing here, finally in the 60s this morning. I put a hoodie on this morning. I think Corey said that last night was supposed to get down into the 40s overnight, so that was nice. Yesterday's weather was just absolutely gorgeous. We were walking the dogs yesterday evening, and I was like, wow, it's just fantastic out. Low humidity. I think it was in the low 80s for a high, and like if it could be like that all year round, I'd be a fan for sure. So anyway, like I said, I'm late 40s and fat and out of shape. I guess I'm not completely a waste of human life. I guess we take the dogs for walks every day, about 2 miles a day. And I work out at DG quite a bit, and it's not work out at Dollar General, out at Delinquents Gully, on the hills, walking around, doing all sorts of physical stuff there. So I'm not completely out of shape, but I could definitely be in better shape. I am not what I was in my prime by any means. So having to pour 40 bags of concrete by myself, I was like, this is going to be a big job. It wasn't quite enough. So it's just over a half a yard total, 40, 50-pound bags. It's just over a half a yard of concrete. So it wasn't necessarily enough to order a truck. I talked to the builder when he was out there, and he thinks a front dump truck, a front unload concrete truck could definitely get to our site. Shouldn't have an issue. But it's just not quite enough concrete to order a pour from a truck. I'm guessing the delivery fee would have been more than the concrete itself. So I had some options as far as how to do it. Wheelbarrow or a concrete pan mixer. That's always an option. Have water. If you remember way back, I put rainwater collection on our shed that we put up a long time ago. Over a year ago now, the rainwater collection is doing great. I've had a full tote of rainwater, 350 gallons out there, pretty much from the first time it rained. So I wasn't worried about water. I had a fitting that I put on the tote that hooked a hose up to. So filling gallon jugs with water is no issue. If you've ever mixed concrete, it's kind of about a half a gallon to 3/4 a gallon per bag. So using gallon jugs is not an issue. It helps measure out the water and refilling them. It wasn't that far to just walk over and refill the jugs. So I had a few jugs. I was refilling those. I had someone offer a small Harbor Freight. Had a small Harbor Freight. Canadian Farmstead said the shed and rainwater setup was over a year ago. Yeah, I believe it was. Maybe not. I thought it. When did I thought it was last fall. Maybe it's coming up on a year. Was it I don't remember, dude. I put the shed. Okay, let's say I put the shed up over a year ago. I know that. I don't know when the rainwater went up. Time flies. Yeah, it does. I didn't know if you were questioning me or if you were just amazed that it had been that long. Anyway, I had somebody offer a small Harbor Freight electric concrete mixer. Mix about 2 bags of concrete at a time. But with that, I was going to have to. With that, Hunter says SRF is in like a month, less than a month. It's less than a month. And Canadian Farm says questioning his own brain. That's cool because I am too. I can't remember when I actually got the rainwater gutters up on that. The waiting for getting the cabin installed is it throws all my time off. Like I paid, or I went and got a quote in like December, paid for it in like February, and then it didn't get installed until May or June or whenever. I don't know. It all blurs together at this point. This is what happens when you get old, I guess. Anyway, I had an option of borrowing a concrete mixer. I wasn't sure when I was going to get my hands on that. I was going to have to use a generator and all of that. And then there was the third option was a method that the builder that put up the roof had told me about mixing concrete, and basically you take some contractor bags, some heavy duty contractor bags, dump the bag of concrete in it, dump the bag of water in it, and knead it like bread, and pour it in the hole. I was like, well, that sounds pretty slick. I would really like to try that. I've mixed a little bit of concrete in my past. I worked at a precast concrete factory for a long time. I ran a 5-yard concrete mixer, which is way way bigger than any scale that I would ever have to do on my own. But I wanted to try this. I wanted to try it out. It sounded like it. The process that he described sounded like it would work. I was like, why not? I give it a try. I didn't know how long it was going to take to get the concrete mixer. I didn't. I was going to have to get a wheelbarrow or a mixing pan for doing it that way. I have a dump trailer wheelbarrow type of thing up there, but the ridges in the bottom of it really wouldn't have lended itself well to mixing concrete in it. So I was definitely going to have to buy some equipment one way or the other. So I decided I was gonna do at least try the contractor bag method. And so how it broke down was I had 5 holes, 40 bags. It was about 8 bags per hole. I was thinking that I'm a big dude. I mean I'm pushing 6'5" and I have some weight behind me. I've worked manual labor and things like that for most of my life. Even though I am out of shape, I feel like I could toss around 100 pounds if I needed to. So the builder told me that the 3 mil contractor bags doubled up will support 2 50-pound bags of concrete. I was like, all right, well, I'll throw 2 of those in there, throw the water in, and see how it goes. I'll do that. I'll pre-set up the first one and try it and see what happens. Because once you start mixing the concrete to fill the hole, you have about half an hour, 40 minutes ish. Before that first layer, that first mix will start to set up, and then it won't bond very well. And so I threw the first 2 bags in. I set the rest up, single bags, or set the rest up with single bags, and was gonna put the second bag in if this worked. But I wanted, before I got all of them set up with 2 bags, I wanted to make sure that it was feasible. It was feasible. It was more than I was going to want to do 20 times. Let's say that 50 pounds. I tried next, and it was way easier, and doing it 40 times instead of doing the 100 pounds 20 times was way better option. So that was an easy decision right off the bat. It mixed better with the 50 pounds. I used a lot more bags. I'll kind of talk about how I saved on bags. I kept reusing the outer bag. The inner bags got pretty trashed with the material inside, the aggregate, the rocks, and the cement, and kneading it and grinding it against the plastic. They poked little holes in it. That's why you double bagged it. But that outside bag stayed pretty good. So when I would pour it, I'd pull the outside bag off and then reuse another liner to save on bags. But it went pretty smooth. It was interesting trying to get the right mix of water, get the right amount of water. Things were pretty dry up there, and so I was over a little bit on the suggested water. The suggested amount of water, when I would use that, it was a little dry still, especially for trying to work it by yourself and extend the time period of being able to mix multiple batches together. So went a little wet on it just for handling's sake. I wasn't really concerned about the strength loss with the extra water in there. It made sense to me, and having poured enough concrete before, I think it would be all right. So I pounded through it. Basically, I would do 1 hole at a time, and I would do batch setup. I would set up all 8 bags in the contractor bags, get all the dry mix in the 8 bags, have them all staged up, have the hole ready, get my water staged. I only had 4 jugs, and ended up needing a little bit more than that for 8 gallons, or needed a little more than 4 gallons for the 8 bags, since I was going a little wet on the mix. So about halfway through, I would go and refill my jugs, but I was getting them done in about 20 to 30 minutes per hole. And then I needed to sit down for a while. And that sit down period got more and more as the day went on, as I got through the holes. And I was sending Corey updates as I was going through, letting her know if I was going to be late getting home. Once I started, I wanted to finish it. I wanted to get it done. I didn't want to have to come back and start up again. So I pounded it out. The last hole, I took quite a bit. It took all I had. And then I sat down for a few minutes before I started to clean up. And I woke up like 10, 15 minutes later. I had dozed off a little bit. I was beat. So got them poured. The contractor bag method. So final thoughts on the contractor bag method of mixing concrete. If I wouldn't do it again for 40 bags. Let's say that. Under 10 bags, maybe project under 10 bags if you're doing fence post or something like that, or I don't know, small amounts. I think it'd be great. I mean, it really worked well. Mixing it was fairly easy. I just put a piece of plywood down and put the bag on it, poured the water in, and kind of twisted up the top and just rolled it back and forth, and make sure I hit all the corners and folded it over a few times. And you can really feel the consistency change through the bag. And so that part was easy. It was a lot of waste. There was a lot of bags, and I'm hoping I saved the bags, and I'm hoping to use them for like construction debris on the site. Since the cement and concrete don't really stick to the plastic all that much. They're just not rolled up real nice in a box or anything. It's going to be a pain in the ass to store them, but I think I'm going to be able to use them again. So that is a plus, but a lot of waste, a lot of messing around. But it mixed so much better than a shovel in a wheelbarrow. That's what I don't like. It's such a pain in the ass. You never get it mixed right, or I never get it mixed right. You lose so much. This kind of slid right out of the bag, and when you mixed a bag, you got 50 pounds, and it worked well, but it was a lot for the pour that I did. Maybe if I had someone helping me, that might have been a complete different story. If I had someone switching on and off with jobs, or someone pre-setting, like staging the holes, or even just splitting the work, I'm guessing it would have been a different story. And I might change my mind on that. But by myself out in the woods, probably, if I had to do it again, I might get the generator and do the mixer. I really, man, I don't know. It is what it is. Pouring out in the woods, it is what it is. It's remote. It's not real convenient, and you just got to make it work. So how I would do it again, I don't know. I don't think I'm going to have to pour that much again up there. If I do, when it comes down to it, I might try a different way. I don't know. Or I might just find somebody to help me out, and we'll do it. We'll do it with the contractor bag. But it worked well. I can't deny that it didn't work well. It mixed well. It did everything that he said it would. I'm glad I tried it. I'm glad I got the experience. If you have any questions about that, you can swing over to the Telegram chat, t.me/lots chat. That's t.me/lots chat. You can ask questions, or if you've done it, if you've used it, let me know. Throw a comment in on the video, or head over to the Telegram chat and let us know about that. So that was getting the concrete poured out in the woods. Hey, Martinson family, how's it going? How you been? Hope you're doing well. Been a while since we saw you. So that was the accomplishment on Friday, and then the electrical mishaps after that was just a slap in the face. It's like one step forward, and then the camper breaks. We've had so much stuff with the camper break in the last month. It's infuriating because I don't really want to fix it. For obvious reasons. But You know, the cap that screws on your kitchen sink that has the screen in it, goes on the end of the faucet. That the threads on that somehow, I mean, they don't make it such high quality here in the RV. It's pretty much was like plastic, but the threads, a little spot of the threads cracked, and I don't know if it was from like hitting the dog bowl against it or the jug that we used to fill the Berkey or what. Repeated, I don't know what happened, but a little piece of the thread broke off and it started spraying outside. So just like, really, only have a couple months. Like, can we just get through it? Can we make it and then get rid of the thing? It would just be it's it's driving me nuts, driving Corey nuts, but we'll get through it for sure. Guys, Bitcoin has been pretty flat lately. Dipped down. Right now we're sitting at $111,920. I think it's very similar last Monday. Actually might have been a little bit lower, right in that range. But guys, if you have Bitcoin and you have it on an exchange, get it off the exchange. If you have it in a software wallet and you're stacking any significant amount, I suggest you grab a hardware wallet. My suggestion on that is the Blockstream Jade and the Jade Plus. It works. They're a solid company. They have solid technology. They have two models. They have the Jade and the Jade Plus. The Jade is the economy model. It's a little smaller. It's got a smaller screen. It's got less user friendly controls, I guess you would call it. They got a scroll bar, a scroll wheel, and a button, and this and that. It works great. It's the original one that I got from them, and I used it, and it works fine. It's not bad by any means, but the Jade Plus is definitely an upgrade. Jade Plus went to all button design. It's bigger, got a bigger screen, optional metal case, really slick looking, and the new updated Blockstream app. They went away from the Blockstream Green app and went straight to the Blockstream app. Is working really well. I've really been enjoying using that. You can get 10% off at Blockstream on your Jade or Jade Plus using code The Lots Project, or you can hit the link that's down in the video description and hit the link down in the video description, or the show notes, or the podcast notes, or whatever forum you're watching this. I appreciate that. You can hit the link and that'll automatically apply the discount code at checkout, or just go to store.blockstream.com and be sure to apply the Lots Project as your discount code for 10% off. If you ever have any questions on using your Jade, setting it up, or anything like that, please reach out to me. You can email me, you can find me, you can comment on any of these videos, or head to the Telegram chat, t.me/LotsChat, and be happy to help you with your Jade issues. And if I don't know the answer, I send an email off to my rep. I've been working with them for well over, oh man, it's probably going on 2 years now. Yeah, it's probably 2 years. I have a direct contact with a rep there that if he doesn't know the answer, he goes right to the engineers, right to the guys making the software or designing the product, and gets answers right away as quickly as possible. So buy one, feel confident that you'll get your questions answered if you have any going along the way. Blockstream Jade or Jade Plus for securing your Bitcoin, not your keys, not your coins, guys. So put them in a hardware wallet today. Canadian Farm says, didn't other Brian say 200,000 by the end of the year? Yeah, he did. I mean, what are we? September 8th. So we got 3 months. Well, September, October, November, December, 4 months left. I don't think that's out of the question still. Unlikely. I don't know. I think it really depends on what happens in the world between now and then. I think it's still a possibility. I said 150 by the end of September. I was on that boat for a bit, and I still think that's a outside chance. I think that every day that goes by here, it's getting a little slimmer, but I still think there's an outside chance of 150 by the end of September. I think a more legitimate is probably 150 by the end of the year than 200. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. If you're buying, stacking sats and holding, it doesn't really matter what the price is. Just watch it, enjoy it, and if you're trying to buy dips when it goes down, buy a little bit more. So anyway, let's move on to the next topic. What's wrong with a little ding dong ditch? I've seen this come up in a couple of different places over the last couple of weeks, and yesterday when I was perusing the local Facebook groups, which are an absolute cesspool now, it's interesting for a small town, for one of the smallest towns in West Tennessee. The drama in the multiple Facebook, the fact that, first of all, the fact that there's multiple Facebook groups for this town doesn't make sense. And the fact that there's so much drama in these groups, and there's just it's mind blowing. It's absolutely mind blowing. But anyway, I was catching up on the local news. Actually, every once in a while, there's something decent posted in there that I'm glad that I know. So if you can sift through all the bullshit and all the bickering about the mayor and the town and this and that and back and forth, there are some decent things in there that make it worth perusing. Canadian Farm says more drama equals people creating new groups. Yeah, it is. There's like two factions, and they battle each other, and they have people that have infiltrated both groups, and so they all just fight amongst themselves. And I'm in all the groups because I don't got a dog in the race. But there are some things that make it worth it. I bought some stuff from people selling stuff locally. I've found out about events and things like that. So it is worth it. And when the power goes out, everybody runs to the Facebook group and says, "Is my power's out? Is anybody else's power out?" So Canadian Farm says, "Who's right?" Oh man, I don't know. I really don't know. It seems like a lot of the agitators don't even live in this town, honestly. And they've admitted it as much. I don't even live there, but I think this is wrong type of stuff. Like, who the fuck are you? But anyway, it all boils down to people that have been here and their families have been here for a long, long time, and new people moving to the area and wanting. I think it's the whole California moving to Colorado thing and trying to make Colorado California. I think a lot of people have moved to this area and want to make it better. My opinion is it was good. That's the reason you moved here. So why don't you fucking leave it alone? I guess is my opinion, especially if it's through government. But I think that's where the divide is there's new people wanting to make things the way it was where they came from. And that's not why you leave where you came from. I think people forget that. I think that's really what it boils down to, but that's just me watching from the outside. I'm just excited to get out in the woods and not have to deal with anybody myself. But anyway, I was perusing one of the local groups, and the ex-mayor, the mayor that lost, who has also been in a fist fight with the current mayor on Main Street. Yeah. Um, Jesus. It's so asinine. He posts pictures from, I don't know if it's his security system, his ring cam, or what the hell it is, but some kid ringing his doorbell and running away. Now, sorry, I got cat hair, dog hair, weird cat hair, dog hair in my nose. Canadian Farmstead says you should propose to have a boxing match to raise money for charity. That's actually been suggested that they have Friday night fights downtown. That people could sign waivers and have Friday night fights right on Main Street downtown. I was all for it. I would get in the ring probably. I don't know. It's been a while. I might lose more teeth. Might not be good. But anyway, the ex-mayor posts posts pictures of the kid standing at the door and then running away, and this post about somebody should make sure their kids aren't ringing doorbells and running away and blah blah blah. The things could turn out really bad, and I'm like, come on, man. I said earlier I'm old and fat. I'm late 40s. Did you guys ding dong ditch when you were kids? It was like a rite of passage in our neighborhood. We had a bunch of kids that were around my age, some a little older, some a little younger. But when you were hanging out with kids, that was kind of like a rite of passage. You weren't really in the crew until you participated in a ding dong ditch. Until you got the stones to go up and knock on the door and run away and hide and watch the person come to the door. Hunter said, did they just kill somebody over that? I think they did. And that's kind of why I brought it up. Like, what is wrong with people? Are people not allowed to knock on anybody's door anymore? And if you're that scared of who's at your door, why are you answering the door? Mike Solomon says that kids got smoked in Texas last week doing it, play stupid games. I think people are a little bit, I think that's a little bit of overreaction. Ding dong ditch. So the kid knocked on the door and you shot him. What if it was the UPS guy? What if it was your neighbor looking to borrow a cup of sugar? Was there more to the story than the kid knocking on the door and running away? Corey brought up a good point. What if the kid was selling some shit, like legit magazines or candy bars or something for school for a fundraiser, and knocked on the door and got nervous because kids are nervous about talking to people, strangers, and ran away? What if? You don't know. And why are we shooting kids at the front door? I had heard a little bit about the story in Texas. I don't know the details. I don't know what was going on. You don't have to answer the door. Everybody's got a ring camera. I don't have a ring camera. I'll never have a fucking ring camera. But with a ring camera, with all these devices, you know who's at the fucking door. If a kid's knocking on the door, laughing, getting ready to run away, just fucking let him run away. Jesus. What is it hurting you? But the people that just blast shit on Facebook, I don't know. I don't know. They have issues. They have a problem. Obviously, he has video of who the kid is, what he did. Don't take it to Facebook. Martinson family. Some people are using this to do recon for burglary and home invasion. It's not. I don't think it's a crime. Last I checked, to knock on somebody's door. Maybe. I don't know. It's a fucked up world we live in now. I probably should be dead about 100 times over if I lived in 2025. If I was born in 2015, I'd probably be dead. Likely, at least in jail. If I grew up in this day and age, there's a lot of shit we did that probably would have ended up on video on the internet or landing me in jail. That's stuff that almost landed me in jail anyway. That there would have been proof that I actually did what they said I did. I don't know, but I don't think Facebook is the right place to air the grievances of a kid that knocked on your door. And like I said, maybe he was selling something and got nervous and ran away. And maybe he was just knocking on doors and running away. It's not people need to just fucking calm the fuck down. Like, it is what it is. Don't answer the fucking door. Oh man. So I ask again, what's wrong with a little ding dong ditch? It is what it is. Last topic on my list here. Last topic was a news article I saw that it seems that people are having an issue with. That I read the article and I was like, it's just a business doing business things. Costco's controversial shopping policy will officially take effect on Monday. This was written August 31st, so last Sunday. So this has been in effect for a week now. Controversial shopping policy, and I'm like, oh wow, what are we doing here? What could possibly be controversial? We quit Costco, by the way. We talked with our dollars way back. We were in Minnesota. We had Costco membership, and when the whole masking policy came about, and they were requiring masks to enter the store, even though the state of Minnesota was not requiring masks because Costco was headquartered in Washington. Washington was the first state to go overboard on the whole COVID bullshit. They were requiring masks in their store nationwide before individual states were. And when we walked in and they were requiring us to put a mask on, Corey and I walked over to the customer service desk and canceled our membership. I'm like, I'm not paying you a membership for you to force me to do something that I don't want to do and that no one in this state is mandating. So go fuck yourself and cancel my membership. So that was the last I dealt with Costco. I shouldn't say that. I actually worked for them quite a bit when I was a gas tech after that and serviced their gas station pump. But that was as a contractor, not as a customer. So that was what we did when we didn't like what Costco did, especially being a private membership club. You just don't have to shop there. You just don't have to buy a membership. But Costco's controversial shopping policy will officially take effect on Monday, September 1st. Back in June, the grocery warehouse chain started allowing executive members into the store from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. during the week. Customers with other memberships had to wait until 10 a.m. to begin shopping at that time. Ooh, the controversy. You pay twice as much to get your extra membership. I don't know if it's twice as much. It was a significant amount more to get an executive membership. And one of the perks is they let you in the fucking store early. How controversial is this? Why is this even a news story? The company said the policy was not strictly enforced then, but now Costco says its grace period is ending and the policy will take hold on Labor Day. Some customers are not happy with the change. They say Costco is favoring its higher paying members and alienating the rest. Jesus. This is the fucking world we live in. Canadian Farm says, wait, you get perks for paying more? That's not fair. That's what I read this shit. And I'm like, I was kind of in tune with Costco. We had the falling out that I mentioned, and then I learned a lot of insider stuff working the at the gas pumps. Actually a couple of the places I worked, a couple of the stores I worked at, the guys that ran the gas huts were really cool, and gave me a lot of insider information on Costco and how it works and how it runs, and so I had a vested interest when I saw the headline, a controversial Costco issue. I was like, oh, I'm curious what this is. I read this article and I'm like, no. Hunter says, duh, play to pay and pay to play. And Canadian Farmstead, can you believe that Ford charges more for their nicer cars? Right? So I'm like, well, maybe I couldn't think of what a controversial issue. Maybe they didn't let people get discounted on gas if they only had a regular membership. But letting people in an hour early for an executive membership, I don't see this as controversial at all whatsoever. If you don't like it, buy a fucking executive membership. Farm says, wait till they hear about first class on airplane. They get to board first, and they get bigger seats and free booze. Mike Sosa says, why don't I get a box seat at a football press box? That's not fair. Hunter says Sam's Club calls it business hours. I always thought that was a thing. I must have. So I've been to Sam's Club. Like we had a Sam's Club that we went to before we moved to the farm when we were in the cities. That must be where I've heard of the business hours. I had assumed Costco had the same thing. I assumed they did. Hunter says it's like 2 hours early at Sam's Club. So an hour on the front end of the day for Costco is like, I mean, maybe if they were, no, that's not even an issue. I was going to say maybe if they were running out of shit, if there was like great deals in the first hour of the day, they were mass rushing in and buying the stuff. If you don't like it, if you want to get access to that shit, buy an executive fucking membership. The next thing people are going to be like, well, I want to go into Costco, but I don't have a membership card. Well, no shit. That's part of the deal. You got to buy one. Oh, fuck me. Why? People are just insane now, guys. Insane. I don't know. I can't do anymore. I gotta have some coffee. I gotta have some breakfast. I got laundry to do today. I gotta sand some more wooden triangles. We've been selling a decent amount of wooden triangle blanks over at Etsy. One of the products we listed up when we started doing our woodworking were just small triangles to make mountains and trees and these things. Canadian Farm says that the cabin in the woods looks better and better, doesn't it? Right? Right. But basically little wooden triangles, 3.5 inch tall, 5.5 inch tall, pine wooden triangle, sanded nice to be ready for stain or paint or things like that. it was a suggestion on one of the YouTube channels I watched, and I was like, yeah, whatever, we'll make some and throw them in a box and put them a listing up, and if people buy them, they buy them. If not, they don't. They've been selling decent. Selling decent enough that I had to make more. And then we got an order over the weekend, and I got to sand up another a dozen of them. So that's a good thing. That's a good thing. So it is. Canadian Farm says, what are the triangles for? I don't know what they're using them for. I've seen them used. Corey made Christmas trees and mountains and little decorations. I think is what you use them for, little decorations. So yeah, keep them listed, keep them selling. Keep them selling. It's worth it. The juice is worth the squeeze on those for sure. The price I charge, I've been using scrap basically to make them, scrap 2x4s, scrap 2x6s, and so I mean it's worth it at that point. Anyway, guys, I'm gonna wrap up. I'm gonna get out of here and get started with my day. I got a big week coming up. Corey's off on I think Corey's off on Thursday and Friday. We'll hopefully get some work done on the cabin. Next step is getting that floor hung. I got to make up some 2-ply beams, get those hung up, and one major beam down the center of the floor, and then we'll get the joist hung and the floor on. I don't think that's happening all this week. Goal is to have that flooring on by the end of the month. I don't know if that's going to happen with we got a bunch of visitors coming throughout the rest of the month, so we'll see. We will see. Other than that, I hope you have an awesome day. Like I said, check out the Blockstream Jade and Jade Plus with discount code The Lots Project over at store.blockstream.com. Check out thelotsproject.com and click that Amazon shopping link if you're doing any Amazon shopping this week. Be sure you like all the socials and all that jazz. And if you're looking for some good coffee, head on over to foodforestfarms.com and use discount code LOTS10 for 10% off, and the shipping is always free, so check that out. Appreciate you watching. Make it an awesome week, guys. Get everything done that you could ever desire in your heart. Make it productive, and look back on the week, say, hey, I got it done. So, hey, we'll catch you later. See you over in Telegram, t.me/LotsChat.